I feel like the more I talk about the blunders and security lapses of the Secret Service, the more unbelievable it becomes. But not only did Secret Service admit that this happened, but I have receipts to show you as well. And I don't know if you're actually going to believe what this Secret Service agent left her post to go do instead of protecting President Trump. We're going to cover all of that, and I'm also going to cover one of the biggest security issues I could potentially see happening with Trump, and this, of course, is just going to be fact mixed in with my opinion, and whatever your opinion is, I want to hear that down below. No matter if you agree or disagree, let me know what you think after the video. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. Let's go and get into it. Now, depending upon when you see this video, no matter if it's early access or the next day, President Trump just recently had a rally in Asheville, North Carolina. And it went off without a hitch until the next day when we find out that a Secret Service agent left her post to breastfeed her child. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, there was actually an unpinned staff agent. Unpinned meaning that she had no security clearance with the Secret Service. This unpinned staff agent actually led the Secret Service agent and two of her family members to a room that is designed to basically hold the president if some kind of emergency were to happen with him. So the site agent in Asheville was actually doing their job and doing their rounds, you know, kind of a last call type of thing, make sure everything is buttoned down before the president comes out to speak. And he walks into this room and he finds this agent who's breastfeeding with two of her family members there. Now remember that for a little bit later in the video. Now, not only did this staff member, who did not have security clearance, by the way, lead them to this room that was designed to be there for the president in case he had an emergency, but also she left her posts without telling anybody and left whatever area of coverage that she was in charge of unmanned.
The report says the special agent did not have permission to leave her post and gave no warning prior to the event that she needed personal time. Working Secret Service agents are prohibited from bringing children or any family members, for that matter, on a protective assignment.
Now, Anthony Guglielmi, who is the spokesperson for the Secret Service, confirmed all this. He said that, you know, they hold their agents to a higher standard. Okay, now, nothing against this lady for having to take care of her child, but I wanted to look into what kind of benefits the Secret Service actually has to see if this is like a common issue with them. Well, they do have a flexible spending account. So basically, if you have your child in daycare, then you can, you know, contribute like a little bit from your paycheck to help cover some of those expenses. They also give employees a little bit over $400 a month, if they're eligible as well, towards having their child in daycare. Now, daycare is expensive. You know, even for one child, it could be upwards of $1,000 a month or more. Now, we don't know how old the child is. We don't know if she just had them. There's no information like that, and we don't really need that, but I did want to point out the fact, too, that they have 12 weeks, up to 12 weeks, of paid paternal leave for new mothers and fathers as well, and people that actually adopt. Depending upon the age of the child, okay, you may say, well, none of that applies. Let's say the child is a little bit too old. She was out of work for 12 weeks, and now she came back to work. Let's even say the daycare is so expensive. Now, this $400 credit is up to people that make $250,000 a year in the Secret Service now. So most of the time when you make that kind of money, you don't get any kind of credits for anything, right? I mean, you are well past the threshold for getting any type of credit, but they still give you a little bit there, right? Towards daycare. So let's assume she couldn't afford daycare. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Well, just like the article says, she was with two family members, because I've never been a mother, right? I'm a father, but I've never been a mother, and these are very important roles for kids. And so because I've never been a mother, and because I don't lactate, I'm not a woman, obviously, I don't know what it's like to breastfeed, right? Or have to pump in order to, get these bottles ready for your kids. But I'm assuming that that's something that she probably could have done, and then gave bottles, prepped bottles to the family members and had them feed the child while she's still working. Now, children are not allowed to be at these active sites where protectees are. When she's on the job, she's not supposed to be doing this. Somebody allowed her to bring her child in. I'm going to assume, right? That may be a big assumption, but I'm going to assume that somebody said, yes, as long as your family members are there and all that kind of stuff, sure. But she let nobody know that she was leaving her post. She's in there. She could have prepped this. I am sure of that. That's a strong opinion. I can't say that 100%. But if you know you're protecting one of the most targeted people in the United States and you had a security lapse less than a month ago, you think that at this point you would say, okay, yeah, it's probably not the best idea to leave my post at this time while the entire world is watching us. Or at least the entire United States. And people like me, that's kind of unbelievably reporting more stories like this on the Secret Service, from them taping up cameras and using private businesses as public restrooms, in a way, to breastfeeding on the job, when the man that was just shot a month ago is your assignment to protect. I'm going to just make a bold statement and say, from flexible spending to the child care to depending on parental leave, to family members, to her actually prepping for this event, or at least letting somebody know, hey, I'm leaving my post, that she could have made one of these things happen. She chose not to do that. There's really no excuse for it. Now, this is just another stain on DEI initiatives, right? And them wanting to hire more women. That's not saying that women can't be in the Secret Service, but there is a certain complication, right, that new mothers would obviously bring to a job like that. And after everything I just talked about and all of the different solutions that don't even require her leaving her post at all, or at the very least just letting somebody know that, hey, I'm leaving my post for 5 minutes, just simple communication would have solved all of this. So I don't know. I think it is obviously a bad look and super bad timing. All of this stuff keeps coming out, from the Trump detail to the Harris detail. It's just, they're making so many mistakes now that you just kind of wonder, what is this $3 billion a year organization doing? It's just one more overfunded organization that just makes simple mistakes like this that could have been detrimental to the most targeted man in the United States, maybe even the world. So there's that. Now, there was a whistleblower that is a counter sniper that came out this past week and said that he is not going to stop giving information until he sees 5 of the top people in the Secret Service fired. One of them already has been fired. He said that he's brought information, security lapses, things that he's seen with his own eyes. He's brought it up to superiors, even counter sniper superiors, and he hasn't seen anything done about it. So I'll be really interested to see the more information that we get out of this whistleblower that works in the field, right? He sees this stuff all of the time, because not only is Secret Service detail and their lapse in judgment and just the things that are going on with them inside the field, and obviously the people above them that are making decisions that really do need to be fired, like that side agent in Butler that they refuse to name, and they refuse to fire anybody at this point. But the other thing that I wanted to point out, one security incident, I say that loosely, probably not, but I heard about the issue with Trump's plane this past week, right? Trump Force One is what he calls it. And they had to divert somewhere in Montana. I think they had to divert 2 Billings. They were going to Bozemark for a rally. The rally started way later, but he ended up still getting there, but they had to divert to Billings. And I'm thinking to myself, you have Asif Merchant, who is the Pakistani man with ties to Iran, right? Who's paying undercover hitmen, or hitmen who are actually undercover. The Iranian plot, I'm sure, goes way deeper than that. You have Secret Service agents on the Harris team and the Trump team making huge mistakes. Just all kinds of craziness going on. But the plane, how do they check that plane, right? What is the security protocol? Do they have people double and triple checking the plane and making sure everything is mechanically sound with that, right? That's something I hope to God they are actually doing, because I know a lot of y'all, and I know myself personally, I don't want to see President Trump killed, obviously. I don't want to see any of our political leaders hurt or killed, right? That's just not something that I wish upon anybody like that. You know, no matter how much I disagree with them, I don't want to see anything like that happen to them. I really don't want to see that happen to President Trump. And so I'm thinking to myself, man, that if somebody wanted to hurt him getting to that plane, that I don't know, man. That's just something that I hope it's not just like one person, right, that comes in and checks. Maybe it would be better if it's just one really trusted mechanic. But it seems like it would be better to have multiple sets of eyes on it at the same time and making sure that every mechanical piece is working and everything is in line, because how easy would it be to say, oh, something just happened with the plane and it went down. God forbid, that's not something I want to see, but I did want to bring it up because I do believe it could be a potential security or just a potential risk for President Trump all the way around. Love to hear your opinion. No matter, again, if you agree or disagree, but let me know what you think one of the biggest security risks for President Trump is right now. That if you had direct access to Secret Service, that you could tell them, hey, this is the biggest risk. Even if it's something inside the Secret Service or someone. Let me know what you think down below. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.